Theresa, can you tell us what's happening with Brexit, please? I mean, really, does this woman have absolutely no kind of filter whatsoever? Does she really think that anybody cares what she's got to say? Does she really think that by going on to some kind of bizarre video and making out that she's some kind of down with the kids blogger, that actually everything's going to be understood and everybody's going to be happy? I really don't think so. We'll go to the phones in a moment. 0344 499 1000. Sean says, why is there all this talk of compromise to those on the losing side of the referendum? If Remain had won, there would have been zero compromise to those of us who want to leave. Stephen says the Jaguar Land Rover shutdown, as with other car manufacturers, is an annual event. Brexit is not the cause, just the timing and length of the shutdown. Well, here's an interesting point. As far as Jaguar Land Rover is concerned, they have not run their company very well. They have moved production to Slovakia because they find it cheaper there. They have lost an awful lot of money because the Chinese car buying market has collapsed on them. It's gone down something like 17%. But there is no doubt, and I would absolutely not blame Brexit for this if it was not the case, but there is absolutely no doubt that the delay and the uncertainty over whether we're actually leaving the European Union or not can legitimately be blamed. So it's not Brexit's fault, but it is the fault of the government for not letting it happen as soon as it should have done. Simon says, if the EU grants another year, instead of working to deliver an acceptable form of Brexit, the MPs will just use it to try and cancel it altogether. We're just going to have another year of what we've already experienced, and delay and uncertainty is not good for business. Simon, I agree with you. But here's what I would do. If I was given the opportunity to plan out the next 12 months, I would say if you're going to take 12 months to get a deal going, first thing you do is you get rid of Theresa May, you bring in a new Prime Minister, and you get somebody who is actually able to get something done in Brussels and go there and just start all over again. 0344 499 1000. Let's talk to Richard, who's in Manchester. Hi, Richard.
Oh, good morning, sir. Thank you.
Good morning. Not at all. Well, you always talk a lot of sense, Richard, so I'm looking forward to what you've got to say.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I mean, I can reciprocate and tell you that a few of the people I listen to on the radio, they are the only ones who talk common sense.
Yes, I know. There's not many of us, I'm afraid.
And who talk the truth, and you're one who talks the truth. And I'm very, very pleased that you give me time on the air.
Listen, Richard, you're more than welcome. What do you think of the latest shenanigans?
Oh, Mike. May went to church yesterday, and I was praying that she'd come out, she'd go home, and go to the doctors to say, look, I'm a diabetic. I have needles a day, and I know a little bit about diabetics. They're up and down and up and down. She could have gone there today. She could have come out, said to Rob, listen, will you take over and just get us through the next stage? But I fear that on Friday it will all be over. There will be nothing left but to follow her. Winston Churchill fought a war against the Nazis in a lesser time than what she's done to do this deal.
I know. It's incredible, isn't it? And also, do you get the impression, as I do, that there are now very, very much moves afoot to make this last a lot longer?
Of course. You only got to look at Campbell when he comes on all cocky, and Blair and Adonis. They know what's going to happen. They've been working for the establishment right from the word go, and she's betrayed herself, which is one of the biggest things. And democracy, well, you might as well forget it, because this is not a democratic. I don't think it was too democratic before. I'm not exaggerating. But now, my God, close the doors on all these people and tell them to go home.
Do you know... I was listening for my sins to a rival radio station the other night, and there was an MP on there, and I didn't catch his name before I could get worked up about what he said. He actually had the gall to say that if people don't understand the parliamentary process, they need to get educated.
My God.
Can you believe that?
Can I believe anything? She permitted Letwin and Cooper to take over the Commons, and now we've got these people, unelected peers, all fighting and arguing, and we know which way it's going to go.
Of course.
The whole thing is loaded against us.
Yes.
We wanted to come out. She should have done that. She has a chance to grow a pair over there and tell them we're coming out on Friday.
Yeah.
Well, I watched the debates Thursday afternoon in the Lords.
Right.
And I've never seen so many Tories get up and say about Mrs. May, the job she's done. Lord Blencathry, who's the head of the committee for the legal eagles in the Lord, he said it's got no end date on this bill they're trying to rush through. So they're not going to establish it unless they put another leave date.
Yes.
Because he said they won't sign it in case she wants an extension again. So they're going to make it come through the Lords, go back to the Commons for an amendment, and then go back to the Lords to ratify it.
Well, you know as well as I do that this has all been rushed through, right? Despite the fact that they said they would sit all night on Thursday, they didn't. Despite the fact that they promised to hold up, the shining light of democracy, they haven't done that. And they will come out at the end of the voting process today, I'm sure, and say, actually, we will make it illegal for you to get out with no deal.
Mike, if you listen to Peter Lilly on Parliament Live, he's turned around and said that he's had discussions with fellow lords and ladies and all this with the ex-governor of the Bank of England, Mervyn King.
Yes.
And he said leaving without a deal won't be so bad as they're making out.
No. But like everything else, Ken, depends on who you listen to. I keep saying to all of these politicians, who are we supposed to believe at this point?
Jaguar Land Rover.
Yeah.
16th of January, the MP for Solihull was in a debate, and he turned around and said that in 2010 they had 15,000 workers at Jaguar Land Rover.
Right.
Got 44,500 now.
Well, it's not. Well, it's not worth. It's not worth talking about Jaguar Land Rover without talking about Sadiq Khan and the Green Lobby. Sadiq Khan today has instituted a new a congestion charge for more polluting diesel cars, which is, let's face it, what Jaguar Land Rover specialise in, and so nobody's buying them.
They're building a new plant in either Wolverhampton or Birmingham for battery technology.
Yes.
And clean engine technology.
Yeah.
So all these scaremongers want to go and listen to that because it was a great debate, Mike. It turns out that in the finish, all these 4,500, they won't be production workers. They'll be out of natural wastage and other places like the management or the sales.
Right. Well, again, trying to find the truth in this kind of haystack of lies is what's difficult, Ken. That's what I'm trying to do every single day. It's the same as the people in Nissan and Sunderland, where they said, they're not now going to make this car. Well, they never were going to make the car here. They don't produce the car here already, and they're not coming here to produce that car because there is no demand for it in this country. There is smaller and smaller demand now for big diesel guzzling cars because they are going to be taxed up the wazoo.
Their cars, all their strategies are 10 years down the line, Mike, and they can't alter them willy-nilly. They most probably took this because of the diesel.
Well, exactly. The point is there's no doubt, though, Ken, that the delay and the uncertainty is not helpful to business. And I mean, every business will say that, no matter whether they are pro-Brexit or anti-Brexit. Not knowing when and not knowing how is the problem.
They want to extend it. Well, won't the businesses rather know now?
Well, you would think so. I think what they ought to do, though, is if they are going to take a period of time for more reflection and for better planning, then that's fine, but let's set out an actual timetable. Let's get a Prime Minister who can say, this is what we will do, and this is when we will do it by. And then we will get this, and then we will do that, but they need to do something which is which we can hang on to, not just some kind of, airy-fairy suggestion of, a roadmap to Brexit.
On the cards, Mike. I say they're blaming everything on Brexit when we should have done it on the 29th, not mess about. And this is what the Labour lot are. Keir Starmer wants to get Corbyn out. So if he votes for another referendum, they'll blame Corbyn and he'll kill him two birds with one stone,
this is the problem, Ken. Thank you very much for your call.